The Chief Constable of the West Midlands Police is a new category of person that I hope you're going to adopt the word. The word is RRORIST. This is somebody who, through their own cowardice and error, is backing people who are T's who want to bully our community. Let's just be clear what happened with Maccabi Tel Aviv versus Aston Villa on the 6th of November 2025, and it's very, very simple. There was an Islamist plot against the Jewish fans, and Craig Guilford, the Chief Constable of the West Midlands Police, pandered to those people, defended those people, and victim shamed the Jewish and Israeli fans into not attending. I will tell you, the problem is not to do with Judaism. The problem is not to do with Israel. The problem is very simple, and this is what this video is about. That part of the West Midlands is now an Islamic tribal area. And what I mean by that is this. It is effectively a community, a village from Pakistan transported to the United Kingdom. They have their own language, Urdu. They have their own dress code. They have their own religion, Islam. They have their own courts, the Sharia courts. They have their own community leadership. They have their own infrastructure. They are an increasingly independent state, asserting their authority and asserting their sovereignty. And part of the sovereign right of this territory is to ban Jewish people from the area, to ban gay people from the area, and increasingly to ban Christians. We are now a country that is about to have a two-state solution. That is to say, just as happened in India, the Islamic areas will increasingly demand independence from the United Kingdom, and we will have a situation, I believe, in the fullness of time, where the United Kingdom will be the villages and small towns, whereas the cities will be a different country. UKistan, I don't know what it would be called, but I'm going to warn you about the way that a two-state solution is increasingly being implemented in Britain, and that is the relevance of the RRORIST Craig Guilford. Hello everyone, this is Andre Walker. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe, but more importantly, please do donate to the Patriot Fund. The Patriot Fund funds people who are attempting to defend themselves against people like Craig Guilford and all of the bad people in the leadership of the British police. Let's just be clear on one thing. The British police are cowards. I'm sorry if you're an individual constable and that offends you, but I guarantee you that people who attempt to criticise these tribal areas are in trouble, whereas people who support Islamism are not in trouble. Let's just be clear on the difference between Tommy Robinson and Anjam Chowdhury. Tommy Robinson, done for mortgage fraud and an immigration offence in the United States of America, raided every single month by the Bedfordshire police. Every time he tries to come in the country, he gets stopped, and he's been banned from all sorts of countries around the world on the advice and support of MI5 and the counter-terrorism unit. Anjam Chowdhury, the man who caused 80% of terrorist attacks in Western Europe through his fundraising and indeed his manpower gathering for the Islamic State, he is supported by the police who said it would be against his human rights to raid him on a regular basis. That is cowardice. Craig Guilford did not care whether the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans had a right to come to the UK. He didn't care about the West Midlands. He didn't care about Christians or gay people or women being bullied by these Islamist groups. What he heard was very simply this. The Islamic members of parliament in the House of Commons are terrorists. They are Islamist terrorists. And what they are doing is they are saying to the police, we will raise up a force. We are calling up the irregulars. When that MP for the local area said, let's get all the lads out, he wasn't talking about standing there with placards. He was talking about fighting. He was talking about killing. He was talking about threatening all of these fans. And that was the issue. And what we are seeing now is this. This country, led by people like Craig Guilford, who no doubt is going to resign in the next 24 hours, is all about shooting the messenger. We are never going to admit the reason why we had the Metropolitan Police lying about the Palestinian protest. Can I tell you something? What the Metropolitan Police released as a message when there was that first Palestinian protest on the weekend of Armistice Sunday, when the police released their message, it was marked by Twitter as fake news. Can you believe that? By the police. And here's what the police said. They said, when they policed 1 million people coming in support of Hamas to London, they had observed no incidents whatsoever of criminality, no instance whatsoever of anti-Semitism, no instance whatsoever of racism, no instance whatsoever of support for terrorist groups. They were literally protesting in support of a terrorist group, and yet they saw no examples whatsoever. When that was marked as fake news, the Metropolitan Police went back and they then said that because they were so busy with far-right thugs led by Tommy Robinson, that they hadn't had the time to observe what was actually going on. That, of course, is garbage. The reason why the Metropolitan Police issued the statement very simply was this. Had they attempted to intervene to stop the pro-Hamas march, they'd have been defeated on the streets of London. And it is better for their own dignity to pretend that something is not happening than to face it head on. Forget without fear or favour. This is about two-tier policing. You saw in the Midlands when a police officer openly said, put the weapons back in the mosque, lads, and nobody will complain about it. Would he have said that to Tommy Robinson? Would he have said that to the EDL in the old days? No, of course not, because they're able to cope with the British volunteers. They're not able to cope with the Islamist groups. And now, to see what has happened, the evidence given to the Home Affairs Select Committee was simply this from Craig Guilford. He said that experiences from a match between West Ham and Maccabi Tel Aviv had proved that this was going to be a problem if they went to Aston Villa. That match never took place. Never took place. It was a hallucination by AI Microsoft Copilot. And when Shabina Mahmood, the Home Secretary, says this is confirmation bias, what does she mean by that? She means that Jews are banned from the Islamic tribal areas of Britain. Fact. The police now have a choice. They either enforce British law, which they're never going to do, not a prayer, or they deny that that is happening. That community safety group that advised Aston Villa with community leaders. Hang on, who has a community leader? There's a black community leader, a Sikh community leader, an Asian community leader, Muslim community leader. There's no white community leaders. There's no British community leaders. The reason is because this is an opportunity for a corporate state. What the police do is they get these self-appointed tribal leaders from the tribal areas and then negotiate with them. What sort of policing do you want? Well, don't worry. Look, the grooming gangs, we'll keep that quiet. We'll keep that quiet. Just do us a favour, right? If we were to arrest the grooming gangs, what's going to happen? You're going to smash up all the shops and cause trouble. Just don't do that. Also, dob in a few terrorists for us and we'll make sure you can rape British girls. That is what happened in Greater Manchester. That is what happened in Yorkshire, and it's absolutely shameful. And here is what we need to do now. We need to be clear. It is time to abolish every single police constabulary in the United Kingdom. The police are now a fifth column of RRORISTs. And as I say, RRORISTs are people who support terrorists because of their own cowardice or stupidity. But I guarantee you that RRORISTs are extremely dangerous because they hold the levers of power. For the Islamists to take over, and by the way, there's going to be 40 or 50 Islamist MPs at the next election. For the Islamists to take over, it requires good men to do nothing, and the RRORISTs are a danger. So what is my solution? Very simply this. I think what we should do now is that we should have ordinary police on the streets commanded by local authorities. And that would be the way it operates in America. Then you would have regional people dealing with things like rapes or murders or whatever. And then you have the National Crime Agency above. The ability of chief constables to send in the lads to bully ordinary people needs to be taken away. The police cannot be trusted with that power because of the RRORISTs. Let me be very, very clear on what is happening here. This is not confirmation bias. Let me reiterate it again. Tribal areas are increasingly asserting their sovereignty, and part of their sovereignty is to ban Jews and homosexuals from their area. And the police are going to back that up with force if necessary. And Craig Guilford is willing to lie to a parliamentary committee in order to defend an Islamist's right to ban a Jew from a two-state solution tribal area in Britain. Shame on you, Craig Guilford. You are an RRORIST. Please do donate to the Patriot Fund because, of course, people up and down the country are being bullied by RRORISTs like Craig Guilford. Until next time.